So we have these 4 lines that we call the 4 dharmas, Sanskrit, teachings of Gampopa. And they are expressing the different stages where we are, how we proceed, and where we go. So we use, in Buddhist terminology, basis, path, and fruit to describe this progression. Basis is where we are, where we start, the starting point. Path, well, everybody understand, that's the way to go, and the different stages. And fruit, that's the achievement. Later on, as part of the fruit, you'll have also activity, which means the qualities discovered along the path that become the fruit have a dynamic power that naturally radiates and helps. This is activity. The definition of activity, or enlightened or Buddha activity, is the benefit of beings that is spontaneous, without preconception. Spontaneous means whatever need beings may have, there is an immediate answer that absolutely fits the need. You know, when I I came along the ocean, coming from the south to here, and I saw lots of boats, you know, lots of little boats and big boats, small boats, and so on. And you know, when I look at the ocean, I think about this quality and activity. Whatever shape the boat has, the ocean answers by the perfect fitting shape. Sort of opens up to fit the boat, size, you know, and then give a sort of little support, little push, you know. So the ocean is not thinking about your boat, you know, oh, sorry, I have to carry that boat from this place to this place. No, you know, it's a natural quality, spontaneous, because there's no preconception, there's no one to think about what has to be done and which time and so on. It's just a spontaneous response to the needs of being. This is enlightened activity, free from a self that is always working and sometimes is tired, and sometimes asks himself or herself, when is retirement? You know, ocean is not thinking about retirement. The ocean is by nature welcoming, vast, deep, supportive, and so is the enlightened activity. Fruit, now we are here, basis. What is the basis? Well, in the definition of our present state, in the Buddhist teachings, there are at the same time a good news and a bad news. Let's begin with the good news. The good news is that all sentient beings, every sentient being, is endowed with the Buddha nature. Buddha nature. What is Buddha nature? Buddha here is not Buddha the teacher, like Buddha Shakyamuni, who was a teacher, born in India 2,500 years ago, passed away in India. We have still now his teachings in our world, but he was a teacher. He's someone who reached enlightenment, showed the path. When we say Buddha nature, we're talking about Buddha awakened, the enlightened, awakened state. When the mind is under the sway of ignorance, when the mind doesn't know itself, it is an unawakened mind. Once through a certain path, all the traces of ignorance, all the different layers of veils, all the dust, we may say, that's been accumulated since beginningless time on this mind, are dispelled, clarified, then mind knows itself. And this mind awakens. It awakens from the sleep of ignorance, the dreamlike state, the confusion, where we take for real what is not and we ignore the reality. So this is a way of saying awakened. But also awakened in the sense of all the qualities are fully disclosed. Often I use my clothes to show that. It's my little enlightened Muppet show. This is the Buddha nature. If you are enlightened, if you're a Buddha, if you reach this understanding and freedom from obscurations, this is what you have. This is us. I mean, me. I don't know for you, but I know for me. This is me. Okay? These are all the veils and habits, ignorance, all the neurotic, emotional movement in our mind, like aggression, jealousy, passion, in the sense of attachment, and so on, arrogance. Then habits, what we call habitual thought patterns. You know, we're used to do that. We've been doing it, and we will continue to do it. You know, sort of Pavlov dogs, like habits. And then out of this confusion, out of this emotional games, and out of the habitual thought patterns, then we create a lot of things through our body, speech, and mind. We are very active and very creative. And so there are lots of traces in our mind, like wounds or scars, and lots of traces in the mind and the body and the speech of other people that we have wounded out of ignorance, out of greed, out of attachment, out of anger, out of habitual tendencies, and so on. So this is another layer. It's like a lampshade, you know. You got a beautiful light, and you got a very thick lampshade, so you don't see the light. And even if you can see the light, what you see is the color of the lampshade. It's not truly the light itself. The reality of the light is still unknown to us. What we see is the color of the lampshade. And if the lampshade is thick, you don't see anything. So that's the bad news. The good news is we have it. The bad news is we don't know it. I'm very optimist by nature, and I say, well, that's going to be my foundation. I'm going to rely upon that to look at myself and look at you. Every sentient being that I meet, not only human beings, sentient beings, so this includes animals and forms of life that we don't see or understand or consider as sentient beings, are or is endowed with this Buddha nature and is a Buddha to be, in a way. It's going to take some time, but it's technically possible. So when you look at sentient beings in this way, if you relate to the Buddha nature and not to the lampshade, you have hope. You may have patience. And then you may tell yourself, there's surely a way through the lampshade to the lamp. Then you are creative. You can develop resources. But if you relate to yourself and other beings as a lampshade,